Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Grandma Amy Choi could carry out a secret DNA test sooner or later. Will Amy's bond with baby Tesoro lead to a mission for proof? Sophia Choi knows that Javi Hernandez and Leo Stark have been looking after the baby she surrendered in the fire station's safe haven box. It was hard giving up her son, but Sophia can take comfort in the fact that he's being cared for, so lovingly. However, Days spoilers say Sophia could have a problem on her hands now that Amy has met Tesoro and feels a connection with him. In Duel's July 17th episode, Amy noticed Tesoro in his stroller at the courthouse, where she crossed paths with Leo since they were both there for jury selection. That gave Amy a chance to gush over the baby, and she even came back to say goodbye to him after she was dismissed. It's obvious that Amy was quite drawn to Tesoro, so Days may be going somewhere with this. There are probably going to be more encounters like that in the coming weeks. After Sophia sells her bogus adoption story, Amy may feel even more connected to Tesoro as she tries to fill a grandmotherly void in her heart. It's easy to imagine Days providing a scenario or two where Amy ends up babysitting Tesoro. Leo may have some emergency situation where Amy volunteers to look after Tesoro for a bit. Regardless, Sophia may eventually have a front-row seat to Amy and Tesoro's sweet connection. At some point, Sophia is probably going to witness some baby bonding for herself and freak over Amy getting so close to her own grandson. Amy has some sort of intuitive link to Tesoro, so that could pave the way for her to play detective and learn more than Sophia bargained for. Maybe Amy could even carry out a secret DNA test if she develops a hunch that this is her real grandchild. If that happens, Amy could either score the proof she's after or get thwarted if Sophia's able to rig the results. Whatever the case, Days of Our Lives spoilers say Amy and Tesoro's bonding sessions could spell trouble, so stick with us for updates on any alarming news ahead for Sophia. Days of Our Lives spoilers update for the week of July 21st, 25 reveals that Sophia Choi will weave a tangled baby web while Gabi Hernandez and Tony DiMera strike a deal. Plus, Julie Williams will also face a farewell. So here's what Duel fans can look forward to. First, Sarah Horton Kyriakis will have lingering concerns about her custody feud with Xander Kyriakis. But he'll at least allow her to see Victoria Kyriakis in the coming episodes. After E.J. DiMera riles up Kayla Johnson at the hospital, he'll turn his attention to a hypnosis session with Marlena Evans and try to recover some shooting night memories. Once Ari'S, Ari Horton, and Holly Jonas finally walk free following their time in captivity, they'll rip into Doug Williams III for putting them in danger. Doug will realize Tate Black was right about him needing to leave town, so he'll tell Julie that he's sorry for everything before making a fast exit. Other Days spoilers say Tony will strike a deal with Gabi, so she'll become a master manipulator when it comes to plotting against Xander and Philip Kyriakis. Sophia will pull off some manipulation as well, since she'll convince Tate that she had a baby girl in Chicago and let some new adoptive parents take her home. It'll be part of Melinda Trask's attempt to cover up the real story of Sophia dropping off a baby boy at the fire station. As for Gwen von Leuschner, she'll have a busy week. Days spoilers say Gwen will discover a shocker and no doubt try to use whatever she learns to her advantage. Gwen and Gabi will also clash in the town square, since Gwen will push her buttons over Stefan DiMera's vanishing act. On another note, Days spoilers say Susan Banks will come back with the goal of helping Johnny DiMera, since his trial's about to kick off. Finally, Marlena will pass out in the courtroom and leave Belle Black in panic mode, so she'll hope to get to the bottom of her mom's mysterious medical issues. In Days of Our Lives spoilers say Marlena will undergo more tests at the hospital soon, so stay tuned for updates on any health news ahead. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Chad DiMera could be getting a romantic reboot. Will Connor Floyd's version move on from Kat Green with someone else? Most soap fans know by now that Flynn left Days for The Young and the Restless, where he's now playing Kane Ashby. Since Duel films so far in advance, Flynn will continue to air in the role of Chad for multiple months. However, Days ultimately recast the role of Chad with Connor Floyd, who's still finishing his on-air run as Chance Chancellor on Y&R. Floyd is already filming at Duel, but he won't make his first appearance until April 2026. Of course, viewers are already curious about what the future holds for Chad as a character. Chad finally seems to be opening his heart to Kat, but that doesn't mean she's the woman he's meant to be with. In fact, there have been some photoshoot hints about the possibility of a Chad, Kat, and EJ DiMera love triangle. Kat is currently part of an ISA mission involving EJ, so that may involve some trickery on her part, or maybe she'll actually fall for him in the midst of all this. Whatever the case, Days of Our Lives spoilers say Chad and Kat have a kiss coming up, but EJ issues could easily derail their attempt at a relationship. Drama is always just around the corner in Salem, so that's important to keep in mind. Once Floyd's version of Chad finally hits the screen, the show will have to settle on a romantic path for him. This could offer a chance to reboot Chad's love life, depending on how the writers want to proceed. It's possible that they'll go for another round of Chad and Kat, just to see if some fresh chemistry sparks with Floyd in the role. Then again, Chad might be paired up with another woman on canvas, or even a brand new love interest cast specifically for him. Naturally, we can't ignore the possibility that Days might bring Abigail DiMera back from the grave at some point, even if they have to recast her like Chad. Abigail will always be Chad's soulmate, so maybe they'll get another chance to be together down the road. From the moment she's returned to Days of Our Lives, Gwen's made it clear that she's in town to tie up loose ends. With someone like Gwen, that's enough to make anyone nervous, especially with how vague she's been on what those loose ends are. On Monday, though, she gave us another peek into what she's planning when she told Leo that she's got plans. And they're big. In fact, she promised that Salem's in for a rip-roaring good time. Coming from anyone else, that could be an amazing promise. But coming from someone who's as neck-deep in revenge mode as Gwen? That's a whole lot more worrying. Because if she's having a good time, chances are the rest of the town won't be. But what is she up to? We've speculated that she's secretly bankrolled EJ's hospital takeover, and that she could be planning to help him split Titan DiMera back up and return the family company to Stefano's offspring. But it might not end there. Gwen's attempt to hop into bed with Xander seemed a bit strange. In fact, it felt like more than just a mistake, from her sudden opening up to him to getting absurdly drunk. Something that Xander pointed out was not like her at all. Gwen laughed off the change, saying she's too refined to be able to drink like she used to. But what if she was just pretending to be drunk? That could have just been the opening volley of playing Xander. Even if she's not helping EJ, she could be back to take revenge. By swiping Titan away from Xander and the Kiriakis family and putting it under her control. That would devastate her ex. She just told Leo that Xander was one of her rock bottoms, and if she's really out to get revenge on people, swiping Xander's company and fortune could be just what the doctor ordered. She may not know what's up with Xander and Philip, but let's be real. Everyone knows Xander beat his brother, so it would be clear to Gwen that something shady is going on. If she plays her ex, he could let something slip. And once Gwen learns Philip is a fraud, all she has to do is tip off the Spectator, watch the scandal tank the company stock, and buy it up. As an added bonus, stealing Titan would also drive Maggie crazy. And she's not just the mother of Gwen's rival, but also a member of the hated Horton family. Plus, it could potentially throw Xander so far off balance, he'd lash out at Sarah even more and fight her harder to cling to Victoria, the only good thing he had left in his life. Either way, the power play would shake up pretty much the entire town and give Gwen not just money, but true power. Heaven help everyone in Salem. Leo's freaking out over the phone with Javi about being stuck on the jury for Johnny's trial and not being able to report on it. Javi suggests he just write a book about it afterwards. He hangs up, only for Gwen to walk by in the square. Leo calls her over with a quip, and after a few insults, Gwen settles down to ask about what's happening at the Spectator. He tells her it's doing fine, then goes after her for being vindictive and petty, especially about the necklace. Gwen insists again that she's got other reasons for coming back, and hints at a full plan she's got in her back pocket. But she has no desire to tell a backstabber like Leo what it is. Fine, but whatever she's doing is illegal. Leo will uncover and expose her. Gwen laughs at his journalism skills, and Leo assures her that he can uncover scoops, like her heading into the Salem Inn with Xander. So what? Xander and Sarah are on the rocks, Gwen says. Leo points out that they always find their way back again. And Gwen's a fool to go back down that road again. Even though she hates him, Leo doesn't want to see her get hurt again by Xander. Yes, she hit rock bottom with Xander, but the one who really broke her heart was Leo. He knows, and he's been trying to apologize ever since. He'd crawl through glass and beg her to forgive him if that would help. It wouldn't, Gwen tells him coldly. Picking up from Friday, Xander and Gabi break their hug, and she tells him she doesn't want to go home just yet. She was so happy Ari wanted to come to Salem. Now she wishes she hadn't let her come. Salem's been horrible for her. I feel like it's all my fault. I'm a terrible mother. Xander reassures Gabi that she's a great mother. He can see how much she loves Ari. And he knows how scary a kidnapping is. But he and Sarah got their happy ending after Victoria was snatched. Gabi will too. Johnny gets into work, where he surprises Philip with the news that his trial starts tomorrow, and he may have to miss a few weeks. If you feel you need to fire me for PR reasons, I'll understand. Philip says he knows Johnny's innocent and he'll be back at work soon. Johnny thanks him, then leaves to get recording equipment for Philip and Xander's statement. Shortly after, Gabi rushes out of the office, telling Philip she has no time to talk. Philip heads in and asks what Xander did to Gabi, who, in turn, gets angry with Philip for assuming he's at fault. Johnny walks in just as the brothers glare each other down. They calm down and sit, and Xander muses that hiring Johnny was poor timing. He was hired to undermine his dad, and thanks to Philip, Xander growls. Johnny and EJ are as close as ever. Johnny insists he's loyal to the company, and Philip asks for time alone with Xander. You can't fire Johnny just because he's made nice with his father. That's an HR/PR nightmare, and they need him to whitewash things so they look like a happy, united family. Johnny comes back over, and Philip tells him he's staying, and it's time to shoot this video, just as Victoria begins crying. After that's settled, they shoot the video, with Xander and Philip playing nice until Johnny turns the camera off. They go right back to fighting, with Philip annoyed that Victoria's in the office in her tiny little prison. She doesn't belong there. Send her back to Sarah. Get over yourself and think about what Victoria really needs. Back home, Javi assures Tesoro that no matter what happens, he'll always be in his heart. Gabi gets home and tears up as she tells Javi that Ari's been kidnapped, and he immediately grabs her and pulls her in for a hug. Gabi tells Javi that Rafe is searching for them right now, and he offers to head into work early to see if he can find anything out. Gabi hugs her cousin and thanks him. Holly's trying to pick the lock with a bobby pin, but it's not working. That's when Ari spots something by one of the cardboard boxes. It's a gigantic air duct, and Ari says she sees daylight. They pry the cover off, and Ari starts crawling through, only to get stuck and panic. Tate's wandering around the alley the girls were taken from, while someone lurks nearby with a gun. It's Rafe, who demands to know what he's doing there. Tate shows him Holly's class ring and offers to split up and search the empty warehouses with Rafe. No, that's too dangerous, Rafe says. Stay and wait for the police while he searches. Tate, naturally, ignores Rafe as soon as he's gone. He gets to Warehouse 18 and hears Ari yelling for help. Inside, Ari starts hyperventilating, just as Tate gets to the door, hears Holly inside and kicks it down. Rafe gets there a short time later to find them hugging and sends Tate and Holly to tell everyone where they are. Rafe calls to Ari in the vent, only to hear her scream as it sounds like a fall. He calls to her more, but she doesn't answer. Ari's unconscious. As Gabi's looking after Tesoro, Leo gets home and tells her Javi texted her and offers his condolences. Just then, Javi calls to tell her that Rafe found Ari and Javi's on her way over. Gabi's overwhelmed and tells Leo, who's overjoyed for her. Gabi's so happy, she even lets him hug her. As soon as Gabi's gone, Leo calls Doug to yell at him. You didn't think to tell me that the other woman you're involved with is my boyfriend's cousin? Out in the alley, Tate comforts Holly, telling her she's safe. Because of you, Holly says. They worry about Ari, then Holly gushes about Tate rescuing her. He insists she means everything to her, but before they can kiss, Gabi show up, asking where her daughter is. Javi arrives after Rafe gets her out of the air duct and starts getting to work. He gets some oxygen on her and she wakes up just as Gabi rushes in. Gwen gets back to her hotel room and puts the necklace in her safe. She muses to herself that she's just getting started. "Oh, Salem, you really are in for a rip-roaring good time." Johnny leaves the guys alone to fight. Xander snarls that this is a nightmare. They can't work together. They both insist the other should go to the Hong Kong office. Then Philip also leaves. Xander admits to Victoria that her uncle is getting under his skin. He can't kill him and can't keep him, so we'll just have to come up with a more creative solution. Leo rocks to Toro while telling him that he may be a bit overprotective. "I would protect you with my life, Toro. No questions asked." Gabi and Ari tell each other that they love each other and embrace. While outside, Rafe says Sean needs her down at the station to take her statement. Holly says an emotional farewell to Tate, who just takes a deep breath after she's gone. He gets a voicemail from Sophia and sees she's in labor. "Oh my God!" Days of Our Lives, spoilers, and updates tease E.J. DiMera may be rich, but he's not rich enough to buy Salem University Hospital. That means he's got a secret partner in on the deal, and it could be Vivian Alamain, who's the mysterious investor. Currently, you might be aware that EJ's financial situation is being scrutinized by both the ISA and the FBI. They have teamed up on this investigation, with Kat Green and Rafe Hernandez taking the lead. Ever since EJ secured the deal to acquire the struggling university hospital, people have been curious about how he managed to pull it off. It's one thing for Xander Kyriakis to make a bid. He wields the financial strength of both Titan and DiMera Enterprises, the company that has merged in his favor. However, for EJ, that hospital acquisition would have to come from his own funds. Yet, even his resources aren't limitless. Shane Donovan informed Kat that she needed to return as an ISA analyst. She's to collaborate with the newly reinstated FBI agent Rafe to determine if EJ used illicit funds to purchase the hospital. Rafe shared with Kat that EJ had placed a doppelganger in his position and revealed many other schemes he had been involved in. However, while tracing the money, Kat and Rafe discovered that EJ did not possess enough of his own funds to buy the hospital outright. Additionally, the hospital was struggling. It was failing, making it a poor investment. There is the Versix drug that could potentially generate billions, but that is years away. The process of getting pharmaceuticals approved takes a long time. Could Vivian Alamain be involved, working with EJ DiMera? And might there even be a third conspirator? Vivian is the mother of EJ's brother, Stefan DiMera, who is currently missing but still alive. Before we explore the entire Vivian Alamain situation, I want to focus on EJ because he is overwhelmed at the moment. He is working to clear his son, Johnny DiMera, of those attempted murder charges, and he will soon find out that people are investigating his finances. Kat and Rafe are on the case. It seems that Steve Patch Johnson might also be looking into it. They have implemented a retcon, which is a historical rewrite to make a current storyline believable, in case you are unfamiliar with the term. Therefore, if anyone can track down the source of the large check EJ wrote, it's likely those two and Patch Rafe was an FBI agent when he first hit Salem. They need to determine which wealthy Salemite has a motive regarding the hospital and who else might be involved. Who has enough money to make the hospital purchase? And not just who has that kind of wealth, but who would collaborate with EJ, given that he is the face of the operation and somewhat a public enemy? It's definitely not Xander or Philip Kyriakis. Although you should keep in mind that Gwen Rischek has a lot of von Leuschner money. However, she probably wouldn't want to invest in Salem University Hospital. That said, it doesn't mean she's completely out of the picture. Also, from Gwen's conversation with EJ, it appears they aren't working together on any investment or business deal. So, EJ DiMera is the public face of the plan, but he isn't the one funding it. Remember, he had to get along with the board members to secure their votes as well. It wasn't just about the money. EJ was up against tough competition from Xander, who was also trying to win votes. Fortunately for EJ, Xander got arrested for seriously injuring Philip. If it weren't for the harsh attack on Philip and Jada Hunter arresting him, Xander could have won the vote. To make things worse, Jada arrested Xander at the hospital in front of people who either had a vote or were close to board members. As a result, the board chose EJ. Even though Philip didn't file charges, Xander could never reverse the deal. This is why we think Vivian might be the one funding EJ's hospital buyout. First, Madame Vivian Alamain is very wealthy. Second, she has strong connections to EJ through his late father, Stefano DiMera. She is the mother of twin sons Jake DiMera and Stefan DiMera, who are EJ's half-brothers. Unfortunately, Jake was killed by an armed mugger in July 2022, just after he proposed to Ava Vitali. Then, in October 2024, Vivian Alamain had her manservant, Ivan Marais, abduct her other son, Stefan, outside the DiMera mansion. This was because Vivian Alamain didn't want Stefan to get back together with Gabi. You see, Vivian believed that no woman was ever suitable for her sons, especially not Gabi. So, Vivian Alamain forged divorce documents, sent them to Gabi, and had Stefan packed into a trunk and forcibly deported to Alemania. Vivian has a strange sense of showing maternal love, one minute having her son stuffed in a trunk, and the next buying a hospital for him. She might want the hospital to ensure a future for Stefan in Salem. The medical facility, along with its research lab, could be quite profitable, particularly after the FDA gives the green light to the life-saving sepsis medication, Versix. Additionally, Vivian Alamain could be connected to the DiMera's deranged scientist, Dr. Wilhelm Rolf, who is developing a new and enhanced version of the deceased patriarch, Stefano DiMera. She may even have Stefan be the new Stefano. The summer-fall promo featured Marlena Evans dreaming of becoming Stefano's Queen of the Night once more. Anna DiMera mentioned to Tony DiMera, or was it Andre, that someone believes Stefano DiMera is still alive. However, Rolf would need to create another Stefano essence for that brain chip, since the last one was taken out of Stevie Ano, and Tony and Chad DiMera burned it. Additionally, Vivian Alamain might seek revenge on her surrogate son, Philip, for rejecting her after she forged documents that allowed him to take half of Xander's inheritance. Therefore, she could have assisted EJ as a way to get back at Philip and his brother Xander, essentially preventing them from having the hospital out of spite and malice. Steve Patch Johnson and Kayla Brady Johnson's love story on Days of Our Lives has spanned nearly 4 decades full of adventure, passion, and resilience. From their unforgettable 80s romance to countless separations, kidnappings, and even presumed deaths, their bond has always endured. Despite the harrowing obstacles, they've always found their way back to each other. Now, a challenge has been issued to fans to test their knowledge of the super couple. On the official Days Instagram page was written, "It's almost Patch and Kayla's 37th wedding anniversary. To celebrate, we're on the hunt for their biggest fan. Is it you?" Fans were instructed to submit a video telling us why you deserve the chance to go head-to-head in Patch and Kayla trivia against none other than Mary Beth, Evans, Kalia, and Steven, Nichols, Steve themselves. A video with Evans accompanied it, and she stated, "Hey Days fans, especially you, Patch and Kayla lovers out there. Steven and I are on the hunt for the ultimate Patch and Kayla superfans. So you think you know our storylines better than we do? We're putting you to the test of the head-to-head trivia showdown. So if you've got what it takes to beat us, prove it." She explained which hashtag to use and concluded with, "You just might be chosen to battle it out with us." Nearly every fan response contained a heart emoji, illustrating the love and dedication of the viewers. One follower wrote, "Awesome! Good luck to all the Steve and Kalia Days fans, and the winner should be a fun one to do." Many followers expressed they would be too shy to participate, as one responded, "I would, but am too shy and would be too awestruck to compete. Good luck to the winner." While the contest is just for U.S. residents, fans outside the country still chimed in as one commented, "Not a U.S. resident here, but still love you both. Hello from Slovakia." Many ardent fans are ready to eagerly participate, with another responding, "Love my Patch and his sweetness, fan from the get-go." Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the July 2025 episode tease a wild day for Tate. As Brady comforts Tate, is he worried or relieved about the missing Holly and Ari? Later, when Sophia shows up, does she tell Tate she already gave birth? Kayla and EJ have a lot of hospital business to discuss. Stephanie is worried about her book publication. In the Monday, July 24th episode of Days of Our Lives, Xander and Philp refused to get on the same page. They were at odds about everything, including whether Johnny should be a Titan Demera employee. Meanwhile, Holly and Ari were rescued, and Leo and Gwen had somewhat of a civil conversation. But Mrs. von Leuschner is up to no good, and it's not just about refusing to return the necklace to Julie. Tate got to be Holly's hero on Monday. He broke down a door to get to her and proceeded to have a sweet reunion with his girlfriend. Unfortunately, it wasn't in time for some damage to be done. Ari attempted to get her and Holly out of this mess when she climbed into a vent looking for a way to escape. Ultimately, she got stuck in the vent and needed Rafe's help to get out after it collapsed on her. While Ari turned out to be okay, she was a little worse for wear. Gabi arrived and swiftly took her spot by her daughter's side. Too bad the thrill of being Holly's hero won't last for Tate. His life is about to be upended again. When Holly went to the precinct to give her statement about the kidnapping, Tate got Sophia's voicemail message that said she was in labor. Of course, this is part of her and Melinda's plan to cover for the fact that Sophia already had the baby and gave him up. The question becomes whether or not Tate will believe this story she's about to lay out for him. What is that Gwen up to? On Monday, she and Leo had a sit-down where they hashed out their issues. They left things in a better place, but it didn't feel like they would become besties again. Gwen isn't one to forgive and forget easily. She's all about her stubborn grudges and lingering resentments. What their conversation did do was potentially prevent Leo from returning to his lady whistleblower roots and outing Xander and Gwen's recent hotel romp. Later, back in her Salem Inn hotel room, she monologued about how she was just getting started. "Oh, Salem, you really are in for a rip-roaring good time," she predicted. In the recent days' summer preview promo, EJ orders her to find out what he knows and stop him. So, why did Gwen come back to town? She did invite herself to stay at the Demera mansion since, technically, she is a Demera. Are Gwen and EJ already in cahoots? Did his schemes bring her back to Salem? What kind of havoc is she about to wreak? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, July 22nd. Demonstrate that no, Melinda hasn't learned her lesson since almost losing her license for helping Sloane steal Nicole's baby, as she helped Sophia pull a similar con on her mom and Tate. Sophia gave birth and left her baby at the firehouse because she didn't feel ready to be a mom, and feared Tate and Amy would make her keep and raise him. Now, Melinda has helped cook up a scheme where Sophia will claim to have given birth in Chicago and given her daughter to adoptive parents immediately. Yeah, no way that can go wrong. Especially now that Amy has crossed paths with little Toro, and likely noted there aren't that many Asian families in Salem. And maybe the little foundling she met isn't just a random motherless newborn. Another baby up for grabs is little Victoria Kyriakis. Both Sarah and Xander want sole custody. Xander currently has the girl with him, though he can't seem to get her to settle down without Gabi, but Sarah is plotting how to get her back.